All right, what's up? We got a windy one. Today on PodCurt, the question is, what's the best way to automate food delivery? I've been thinking about this for a while, and I think we should just hop in. So initially it started out food delivery. I did a prototype program here at Georgia Tech, and I'm building a system that initially it was to deliver food to people while you're in a restaurant, and the food would go underground and it would come up through the center of the table and it would appear at your plate. Here, I have a video of how it works. Check it out. So that right there, that's the plate moving. It's going underground, hopefully. And there's electromagnets that attract and propel the plate so then it moves along the wheels. The wheels wouldn't be rotating. And then eventually the plate would find its way to your table, come from underneath up to the top of the table, and then it would slide right to your place with electromagnets. And that's something that I just thought was, I don't know, really cool. And I was able to develop a working linear motor is how the magnet's propelled, actually, from a linear motor is a way that three-phase motion attracts and repels a set of magnets so that it moves it in a direction that you want. And so that's initially how I was moving the plate. But after talking to a bunch of like restaurant architects and people that have experience in food industry and stuff like that, they saw that to create that idea would be very expensive and it would definitely malfunction sometimes, and it would cause a lot of problems, and they might even have to dig up the floor just in order to install it. It's the whole thing that this idea would be way too complicated and expensive basically just to apply. So now I'm thinking about delivering the food through tracks that are in the ceiling. So it'll kind of be like a claw that goes around. It magnetizes to a plate or a tray, picks it up, scoops it, it wheels it like on top of your table where you're at and lowers it. And I think this is the best way that'll work. And initially I was looking at doing it for a restaurant. And so it just be one restaurant that kind of takes the order, sends them out, does everything just for one restaurant. But okay, wow, I'm talking really slow. But now I've shifted the idea from one restaurant to be like a food court in a mall. And so in the shopping mall, there will be like in food courts, there's probably like 15 restaurants, something like that. And if you have a way to connect all the restaurants with just a track that runs along the ceiling, then you could order food, like say there's Burger King, Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, and whatever you want. You can go like on your phone on an app, you order, all right, I want a burger from Burger King, I want a Frappuccino from Starbucks, and I want a chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A. Then it'll send that order to each place, and then the people working at the restaurant will place the food you order on the tray. Then the tray is picked up by one of these movers that is on the ceiling, and then it will move it above you wherever you're sitting in the food court, lower it down at your plate, and boom, your food's right there immediately. And I think that brings a much higher level of efficiency in food delivery just within just within food courts. I think food courts are really inefficient nowadays, where when you're there, you're just waiting. You wait in line for like 20 minutes or 10 minutes or something, especially if it's busy, and then you get your food, and basically the waiting in line is the long part that's hard, and you can't be sitting down or doing something else while you're waiting. And then you order and you have to still wait by the pickup area in order for you to get your food. And I think it'd just be so much more efficient if the food came right to you, and it would tell you like, yo, your food's gonna be here in 10 minutes, or if you order this, your food will be here in 5 minutes, or it can give you some estimated wait delivery times. Jesus, really windy. But yeah, okay, I have a whole kind of rundown of the system, and I'm gonna go into detail in explaining how it would really work. And it's not that complicated, but you have to really define every aspect of a system if you're actually going to create it in the world. And I think this is a viable option. The other thing I was talking about earlier, the free prints, I don't think I'm gonna do that. I started that off a whim, and it would bring more chaos into the world just with random prints. Oh my God, it's windy. But yeah. So now I'm just gonna talk about the new waiter system. I initially called the system Waiter, W8R, and now I'm calling it Aerial Waiter. I don't know, just stupid name. So each restaurant would have an inbound and an outbound track that runs on the ceiling, so that empty movers come in through the inbound, and movers that have a plate stuck to them go out the outbound. Pretty straightforward. And so then initially you can start where, yeah, it's got to be with your phone. So you can order with your phone, and then you scan like a QR code on the table, and so you're like, all right, you're at table 13, what do you want to order? So now you can order basically anything and then send it to each restaurant. And so the way that you'd get money, well, one of the ways that you can monetize off this is just charging a small either percent or flat rate delivery fee just for bringing the food, like 50 cents or something. That could be pretty easy. And so in order to go down, grab the plate, bring it up, there's going to be a electric motor attached to a reel. And so this electric motor like drops the claw, picks it up, and then raises it. And so then you have to think about the mechanism used for attaching to the plate, because that has to be a solid mechanism. That mechanism has to work every time. And so the one I'm thinking about using right now, which could be kind of cool, is if you have an electromagnet on the claw, then it won't really be a claw, but more of like a dome. And so the dome is attached to the electromagnet, and the dome itself is ferritic. So it, I don't think I said that right, but it basically conducts magnetism. And so if you have a magnetized dome, goes down, touches a plate, and the plate has like an iron ring in it, or plate or tray, it could be a tray too. Tray has a ring, so the dome goes down, magnetizes to the ring, and then picks both of them up. And so with that option, you always have to have power running to the you have to have power running to the claw, so then the claw is always charged when it's magnetized, so it won't drop the food on someone's head when it's moving. And so that's going to be an issue most of the time, is getting power to the claw thing. But if you have a battery on the claw, then you don't need to run a wire through the cord as it lowers, but you can run you do need to have some kind of Bluetooth connection with it, which is that would be a hard part to do, is having always Bluetooth connection, because if you lose the Bluetooth connection for any reason, then it drops it an L. So basically how I'm thinking now of bringing power to the claw is you run like the wire itself that is grabbed onto it to lower it has 2 power cables in it that bring power to the claw. But if you think about the twisting of an electric motor reel, where like the power is fed to the claw, then Then the claw needs to be connected with like a brush, how a brush motor is usually connected, where it is free to turn on an axis, but there has to be two pieces of copper that are always in contact. And so you can have that just by the thing spins and there's tape wrapped around it. Conductive copper tape is wrapped around the end of the axis, so that when it does spin, it always maintains contact with the wire that's delivering power to the claw. And so furthermore, the system has wheels. Okay, maybe I don't need to go that much in depth into describing how the exact piece works, because right now I don't know exactly how it's going to work. I am just planning on how I'm going to CAD it, how I'm going to model it in 3D, and how I'm going to print it and develop it. But I guess that more comes as you have time developing, figuring out what works and what doesn't. So maybe I could talk about the large scale picture of the implications of something like this. So basically, if I have this app that works on your phone, and the app, the app would be capable of not only communicating with every restaurant your order, but it would also give it would give the information or data to like the restaurants and the businesses working in that shopping mall. And so the shopping mall will know the exact times of how much food is being ordered, when it's very busy. They kind of have that data now, but this will be very exact, and you can even have like personalized marketing just to like people in the shopping mall when they're there. Because if you have an app in front of someone and it's like, yeah, this is where you can order your food, and it's like, oh, click on this button and maybe you'll get like 10% off this pair of sneakers at Nike or something. And so this is also another way to have marketing like right in front of you, which might sound a little scary, but no, it's going to be for the best. We're going to have to make sure that it's well regulated and not to overemphasize in the marketing. But I just think that would be so cool. You're like walking through the mall and you see like a little thing zooming on top of you. That'd be so cool. You just got to make sure no one like tampers with it or punches it or something. That would be bad. Maybe we just got to make sure that it's high enough so people can't really reach it unless they go out of their way to throw something at it. And so then the big thing that is high in contention with this system is that it works every time, and it's very easy to install and very cheap materials. And I think this is better having a mindset framed this way initially, because if not, then you'll make a very extravagant system that accomplishes a task but does not necessarily do it in the most cost-effective way. And I think starting with the cost-effective mindset when creating a product is exactly how you want to do it. And so like initially I showed you in that video, the way that I had the plates moving underground. One, we'd have to tear up all the floors if we want to do that. Two, we'd have to wire every single electromagnet down there because that's how it's propelling the plate. And cleaning would be a nightmare, because in order to get into where the food is, like dust would be kicked into the system, and that might make food quality a little worse. And so right now the system, like Waiter Mark II, like going through the sky, you only need a track that you mount on the ceiling. The track does not need to have any power going to it, and so that means like the movers will have to navigate the overhead system or connections like on top of people's tables. You'll have to do that autonomously, and so then really all you need in order to do that is have like a marking or have a piece of black tape that can be read every time the mover passes it. So like the black tape would be stuck to it could be just stuck to the rail that you install, and then every time one of the movers passes the little piece of black tape, will be like, okay, I'm right here in after 2 different intersections, I'm gonna take a left, and then I'll take a right, and then I'm gonna lower my food right onto Jack, and Jack will eat the food, and that'll be really cool. And so, there's no power being delivered to the rails. The rails are very easy to install. They don't have to hold that much weight. At max, they have to hold 10 pounds of weight, I would think. And the dome that goes over the food, that's like part of the claw, it will also be protecting the food from anything gonna bump into it, or any dust that might be in the air. So it will really be a clean way of bringing food to you, and it'll also just be super cool. It'll be stupid cool if this is in a place, like, people would go to this mall just to see this system, and like, that's exactly what people want in shopping malls. Shopping malls should not be some boring place where you go just to get like marketed to. It should be some place that you can go not only to find cool things, but like to see cool things in action, like seeing like a device like this should not just be accessible for somewhere in like Disney World. Like, I think it'd be easily applied there, but I think it should find its way more into the real world where you see every day, and like, that would just be so cool. That would be insanely cool if you can go somewhere and like your food is brought to you from the fucking sky. From the sky. And that would just blow some people's minds, and I think it'd really excite kids just about technology in general. And I think it's a direction that society's moving towards, is definitely more automation. But within this food court setting, another reason why I think Waiter Mark II is better is because it's not in a restaurant, it's in a food court. And so it's not necessarily taking jobs away from anyone. If anything, is creating jobs, because right now there's no one in restaurants that like it. There's people making the food, but there's no one hired just to like take the food and like run it to you, and then no, there's no one that does that. It's only you. So you'd be paying for a cool experience. It would be creating jobs and not deleting jobs, that's what we're looking for, at least economy wise. Like yeah, it'd be cool, and I think it'd definitely be loved in other places in the world too. And I think if I can install this, I just need to install it in one place first, and then news will be like, whoa, this is crazy. We got to make more of these. And so then I think it'll really take off, because all I have to do is focus on how to make the system work 100% of the time and be very cheap to install. Because then with the app that you order all the food in, that would be stupid cool. And not only could you order from every restaurant, but yeah, like I said, the data that would be given to the shopping malls would be good for them. It'd also be good for the restaurants, because if in the app, like, you can link it to your Facebook, or you make a profile or something, then it'll see the kinds of people that are eating at each restaurant and kind of how to fit their needs a little better, or some way to make the consumer experience better. And this will not only I really got to find a way to make it cost effective in production. But I think this is easily the cheapest way to make Waiter. And if Waiter is going to be successful, it's going to be successful in this manner. Yeah, that'd be cool. I need to reach out to people at like Simon Malls. Right now there's a mall in development in Atlanta called The Hub. It's right in the middle of Peachtree City, downtown by Mall of Americas, and it has like 15 different restaurants. It would be the ideal place to start with something like this. But if not, I can find another place for sure. I'm sure there will be some place that would want to do this. Even if we have to start really small, we just have to make the system, and the software and hardware have to work perfectly. So right now I just need to build that. I need to get on that. I don't need to be talking to a camera. But it's good that I'm talking to this, getting my ideas out, my brain juice squirted. All right, what else are we talking? Yep. That's all, folks. Best way to automate food delivery. I think that food delivery is where it's headed. Because right now you just think about like Postmates and stuff like that, and that's just getting increasingly popular, and it's not even using any cool technology. And like the food industry is very much in need, or maybe not in need, but it could be way more efficiently created if there's an increase in technology being used in delivery. And I think that's some way that you could just make it very cool. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna work on. Let's see, what do I need to do? All right, I need to make it. I'll do it with first making a CAD design. I can make a video with the CAD design. I could start like photoshopping images of it onto already existing shopping malls. That'd be cool. I just need to make the system work, and I need to test the different mechanisms of the system. Not only the thing that grabs the plate, but also the way that the mover changes direction in the tracks. So I need some way to make it either say like, all right, I'm going left, all right, I'm going right. And so that hardware would be interesting because it needs to be all done by the driver. It cannot be done by the track because, as I said before, I don't want to run any power through the track. Yeah, so CAD model it, and then I ordered parts. They're coming in tomorrow, and I'll start building it tomorrow with augmented CAD designs. Maybe I can just make the CAD design now kind of look like what I think it's gonna do down the line later. Wow, my brain's moving really quick. I think I'm talking very fast. Maybe it's just because it's cold outside. All right, PodCurt out. Let's do this.